Hey everyone, welcome back to 22 Panels. This is the podcast that aims to examine, explore, and elevate the medium of comics. I am Tyler, and across the interwebs, from me is Tad and Phil. Hey guys, how are you?
Morning.
It's been a week.
It's been a week.
It
I'm
has.
gonna start this week off with not so good news about myself. Well, it's good and bad. Listeners, Tad and Phil have already been talking about this with me, but I am going to step away from the podcast for the foreseeable future. I never say never, but right now I have to focus on what I'm doing with the comic store. And I am really noticing that all of my time is sucked away from my house. I'm not even home anymore. And I granted my shop is a block from my house over there. Um, so it's not that I'm like way far away. It's just I'm not available to do anything with the podcast. And yeah, it's time I just have to focus on one thing right now.
Well,
So
once the
guys, I'm
store is
hoping
open, I think you will have time again
I
to
agree.
at least come back and do like a Grendel book club with us or something.
I agree.
Um,
I
I
really
want you
don't.
back on mornings, and I've had people point out that that's something that could be done from the comic shop.
Yeah,
Um,
What?
I just have to get I just have to get to that point because
Yeah.
we're scheduled to open next weekend and we're not ready, and I'm putting in
Right.
every
No, 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 no.
yeah.
I totally, I'm not, this is the increased invite back, not
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
general.
Mhm.
But
Oh,
Oh yeah.
guys,
I do have a couple of things for you.
I do
Uh,
not I do not consider that I'm not part of the team. What I consider is
okay.
I cannot be active right now.
Right. But I do
We're-
have a couple of things for you.
Okay.
We're gonna start with this.
Oh gosh.
Tad, I can't believe you're not here. I'm really disappointed. This is the only reason I ever do this podcast is because of
Well, but
you.
I'm Tad. You
Oh,
met
wait a minute.
Tyler.
Sorry, Tyler. Okay, we'll start over.
You understand?
Doug. Oh,
I don't know.
Doug.
Leaving that in would be hilarious.
We can leave it in.
Let's leave it in. Let's just take two.
Take two. Tyler, I'm only come on the show because of Tad. I'm sorry that I said that out loud in your presence. No, seriously, like, dude, miss you having on the show. I hear you're starting your own comic shop. And of course, I hope it's nothing but successful and congrats on the new path.
And he'll
That's
be
awesome.
back. He
Thanks.
better be back. I'll beat him over the head if he's not back. This show wouldn't exist if it weren't for Tyler. So thank you, Doug, and we'll.
We
That's
will we
awesome.
will we will track you down like the media hounds we are. We'll show up on the
Guys,
front lawn with
Doug
a
also
microphone.
pointed out that he has comic shop experience, and feel free to reach
Great.
out
You
if
guys,
you
I
want
want to tell
any
you
help.
fun.
Adam Freeman also said that, and I was talking to him and Fred Van Lente earlier this week.
Yeah.
So you have people in the industry that are jazzed to help you out, Tyler.
I know,
Um,
and I'm so excited. You guys, Doug, on you guys, I know I'm like old school and I'm still on Facebook, but so are a lot of comic creators still.
oh yeah,
And so Doug is one of those people, like he interacts with like my personal posts. He'll like my birthday. I mean,
Oh,
he's great. I mean, on social media, interacting with me, who I'm not,
you're a
anybody.
retailer now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's up, Matt?
You're a big deal.
Hey Tyler, what's going on, buddy?
Well, we were just announcing that I am gonna have to step away from the podcast for a while because of my store that I'm opening. Um
and
Congratulations.
Tyler can't even like it didn't click in his head that that's why Matt's here.
I do. Well, when I saw his name pop up, that's exactly what I thought. So, but our listeners don't know that. So,
Well, they do because you just told them that.
yeah, Matt's here.
Oh,
Funny, funny. Well, guys,
I don't know if Andy's going to manage to show up, but he did when I was talking to him yesterday, and I'm going to put this on the air so we can maybe hold him to it, but I won't give a dollar amount. Did say that like he should start a pull list with you where he just gives you a dollar amount to curate something and send them every month.
Ooh.
That would be
So
awesome.
I think you have your first pull list customer.
You know what we're doing today is we're physically building the pull list spot where I'm going to hold comics.
Okay.
And so that's being literally we're building that today as our project. So
That's exciting.
Gotcha. Yep.
Awesome.
So lots of people that are wishing you the best. I might have more messages as we go through. I don't know who's going to manage to pop in. One that won't because Marvel didn't get the memo, so they're having their retreat this weekend. The creators retreat where the summit, the Marvel summit is this weekend. So Chris
Okay.
Condon is busy and he can't come and see you off.
Chris
But he
Condon's
does
at the Marvel Tree.
but he does wish you the best.
But you know what? Chris Condon, again, one of those guys, he interacts with me on social media all the time. So that's awesome. Guys, I really appreciate the Doug Wagner message. Matt, I love that you're here. That's awesome. Thanks for getting up. But
It's the least I can do, man.
you're on the East
Yeah.
Coast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, wow,
so it's an
yeah.
hour later for you at least.
I didn't bother to reach out to West Coast people.
Yeah.
In fact, you got the Wagner message because I talked to him last night and I said,
Yeah.
I'm assuming you don't want to get up early enough to join us at 7 a.m., 6 a.m. your time. And he's like, you assume right.
Yeah. Oh man.
He's like, it's possible that I will still be up.
Funny. So
Yeah.
guys, this is awesome. Thank you, Ted. Can't wait to
I mean,
finish our episode together.
I mean, you
and
didn't give me enough time to make it truly epic, but I got to do what I can.
I didn't want you to do anything,
This is
man.
great on short notice,
Yeah.
I just, it's
I
just,
wanted
it's
to
funny
do
to
what I
me.
can because I cannot emphasize enough. Whatever you said last week about me driving the show, and it meant the world to me.
Oh, really?
What
Because
you
it's
said.
true, man. This is your
No, it
baby.
did, but that said, the show wouldn't exist if it weren't for you.
Yeah, but that's me all over the place. Just the idea, and then I put it
I
out
get
there,
it.
and then somebody else runs with it. I'm like, cool. Then I'm happy.
I get it, but
Yeah.
as somebody who had talked on and off about, hey, I should really make a comics podcast for years
Yep.
before you called me.
Yep.
And just never learned the technical side of it.
Yeah.
I
think when I first started a podcast, I just dove in, and I'm like, I don't really care what it takes. What's my first step? You know what I mean? Record something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but
and
I mean, as I tell my wife on any number of things, my biggest stumbling block is the first step.
yeah,
It's
Yeah,
often
I feel
even
that.
figuring out what the first step is.
Yep,
I get
I relate
so
to that.
paralyzed trying to figure out what the first step is.
Well, and for me, usually when I think about the first step, then I realize that there are 3 steps I need to get before that one. So it's like a constant
So
movement
it's
of
not the
goalposts.
first, right? It's not the
Exactly,
first
yeah.
step anymore, right?
Yeah.
that's aside from the money issues with starting the shop that I'm starting. I mean, I needed a partner to match the funds I was putting in. But what has been the best is the partner that I chose is a real go-getter. I'm all like, we need to do X, Y, and Z, and he's like, got it done. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Except for bagging and boarding comics, didn't you say?
Oh, I've convinced him that we need to do that.
Oh, okay.
So
he's now getting a little bit more about the bagging and boarding.
Inventory management.
At the time, he didn't understand the importance of collecting and keeping things pristine, and
Gotcha.
how a little spine tick makes a difference in price.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Is this a bad time to mention that I don't bag and board nearly enough? And by nearly enough, I mean pretty much at all.
I mean,
that's your personal collection. Do whatever.
I have bought bags and boards, but I have not brought myself to put them together.
Well, see, I'm the different guy. I always bag and board, but it's because I know the markup if I buy them individually is enough that it's like a way of just kicking some more profit to the comic shop.
Yeah.
So I
Good
pay
idea.
my
I mean, it's
quarter
about a
for each
quarter, yeah.
issue. Right.
Yep.
Because it's still not actually that expensive. I mean, I do occasionally buy, I mean, I actually have, I think, 200 bags and boards unopened that I've had for years. So it's not like I don't have them at home to do stuff with, but like I don't leave the shop without a bag and board.
Same.
And I'm the guy that almost never seals the bags and boards. I just like tuck in the top.
I like
I
that.
used to do that. I used to do that because I wanted to go back into them, But
Yeah.
Well, I'm just too
Matt,
lazy to tape it.
Yeah.
Matt, what's your preference for your comic books?
Oh, bagged and boarded 100%. Problem is I have stacks that need to be bagged and boarded. And
Yes.
it's
Yep.
finding
That's
the
where I'm at
time.
right now. Yep.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I do it before I leave the shop.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I just
so
have
you-
stacks that need to be properly organized.
I
so
have
you bag and board like at the register, like you
Yeah.
so you leave the shop. Oh, okay, that's actually smart.
So
I feel like
yeah.
I feel like that
my
could work
store
for me.
sells them pre-made
Ooh.
individually. Okay. So the bag and board are pre-made. You can buy them for a quarter a piece
Mhm.
at the shop
Right.
that I go to.
Right.
And
I mean,
then
that's common for stores. Some stores have upped it to like 35 or 40 cents because they've gotten more expensive, but they're still like they're pre-made and you just, some stores you can only get them at the counter. Some stores actually have them out and you can just grab them.
that's cool. I'm gonna mute myself a second. I gotta yell at my dog.
No problem. Every once in a while you run into a store that actually pre-bags and boards their comics,
Yeah, I think I've seen that a few times.
like all of them,
Yeah.
including new
Most
issues.
shops I go to have all the back issues bagged and boarded,
Right.
but not the new stuff.
Yeah,
With-
most stores have their back issues bagged and boarded unless they have like a $1 box or a 50-cent box that they choose not to. But
Yep, that too.
Yes. That's
because,
what I'm
because it makes it
planning on
easier to
doing.
price them.
So
Yep.
that's what I'm doing. Like all of my comics, I have used stuff right now. And so all of my used merchandise, I have just been spending time bagging, boarding. I'm putting a little business card in each one. It's each comic is giving the royal treatment right now. I don't know if I'll keep that up, but
No, so
Well, I mean, what you should do at some point is just buy a stamp
to put it on
and
the
put
bag.
it on the back of the board.
Mhm.
Oh, on the board.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good idea.
I've seen lots of
Good.
shops that do that, where it's
Okay.
like the stamp with the name of the shop, the address, the phone number, just stamped onto the back of the board.
That's a good idea.
Nice. Okay, thank you. That's perfect.
Yeah.
And guys, my pricing gun came in today.
Oh, those are so
Hey.
Or
fun.
will come in today.
Well, have you ever had one of those before?
No.
Oh, they're so great. I love them.
It's just like I'm like,
Yep.
yes.
I have definitely been up to mischief with pricing guns in
Price
my
Gun
life.
Tag is a game everyone in retail should play.
Right.
Funny.
Right.
Well, guys, let's keep moving on. I do have to go at 8:30, so I got about an hour and 10
So
minutes.
so Phil,
Yeah.
let's get into it because
Let's get into it. It's time to start.
We have like the biggest disagreement on the next two items that you
I-
can possibly have while still essentially being on the same side.
Yes, that I was about where you started with that sentence. I was going to clarify, like, whoa, no. There's more
You know I
divisiveness.
wasn't gonna leave it.
No, that's fair. But the biggest comic news of the week is arguably the Red Hood
I
number
actually
one.
disagree on this too, by the way.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, I would love to hear what your even bigger piece of news is. But
I
Red
want to hear
Hood-
what Matt thinks because we haven't heard anything from Matt on the Red
That's
Hood
true.
issue.
Right.
We've been firing off in our texts about Red Hood number one by Gretchen Felkner Martin and Jeff Spokes was pulled from the shelves due to in-universe events.
Well, out of universe events,
I guess
real world events.
Real world events.
I believe the
Right.
real world is still a universe of some sort.
Are in.
Well, yeah,
So,
but when you
Tad,
say in universe about a comic book, you're talking about in the DC
That's
universe.
Fair.
Hey,
Um,
Tad, will you run down what the details of what happened are with Gretchen?
Well, the problem with, well, not really problem, but the narrative challenge with that is that it's we're getting nonlinear here because it started out with a nose point and
Yeah, this feeds right into our what kind of the week has it been, which is
Yes.
political violence.
yes.
Yeah.
And like I'll try to summarize quick because I don't know how much I want to go nuts, and I'll let Phil respond.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to summarize, I think, both of our positions. Um, as probably anybody who could possibly be listening knows, right-wing influencer, generally somebody that I disagree with about absolutely everything, was assassinated this week. And the author of Red Hood went to social media and
She
Made light
praised
of it.
him. I think she praised it. I mean, she did.
Well, I
right,
mean,
yeah,
Yeah.
made comments disparaging to him, which I don't have a problem with, but made a comment that I think the exact line was, "I hope the bullet wasn't
okay.
hurt by
I hope the
contact."
bullet
Yeah,
wasn't
with
hurt. Yep.
contact from Charlie Kirk. And to me, and I think to DC, that was the line too far. That was the, I mean, I'm relatively certain the Nazi bitch would have been one of those where maybe, and certainly she would have been asked to comment and or take it down. Um, but I think there are a lot of ways that she could have toned it down just a smidgen and had really not much chance of losing her job.
Ted,
But
as
I,
a reasonable adult human being, I understand where you're coming from and agree. But why is Charlie Kirk's inflammatory, ridiculous comments about the LGBTQ community not being taken into account in this situation?
I think that's where I was going further.
Yeah.
But that has to do only with her job at DC.
Mhm.
And she should absolutely be supported because she was obviously not speaking from a
she was shooting from the hip.
right.
That was speaking.
Not,
Speaking from the hip.
this is something that has affected her life profoundly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But again, particularly for work for hire type things, that's the sort of thing where, like, I've pre-ordered her next book. I had not read Red Hood. I had no intention of reading Red Hood. I had never heard of her before yesterday, and
Yep.
because of what's been piled onto her, I've pre-ordered her next book. But by her own admission, she'd already been talked to by DC
Oh, she
about
was.
this
and
sort
this
of
is
thing.
to,
So, like, in just a strict HR standpoint, like,
so the quick not to cut you off too hard, but to jump in here is that the piece that we haven't mentioned that was brought about or that was talked about in Zach Rabarov's article following it is that attention was drawn to her comments by Comicsgate. A harassment campaign attempting to get her fired was in place.
absolutely.
Without those actions, would DC have behaved the same? I don't know.
Doubt
But
it.
they have had other members of their
Well,
creative team harassed by that group of people. And now with one of their new talent, which again, as someone said online, Gretchen was a get for DC. DC was not a get for Gretchen. They needed her more than she needed them. And
well, but if that's true, and I believe that it's true, then the decision to let her go is a pretty serious one. It's not one that's likely to
But
have
it was
been made
strictly
lightly. And
financial.
this is
It
actually
is.
where I'm going to toss in what I do think is the biggest piece of comics news this week.
Mhm.
Did you see the interview that Greg Rucka did with John Suntress?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Oh, see the interview? No, but I read the Beat article talking about
Read the beat. Yeah, I read the beat.
Right. And specifically talking about the difference between DC now and DC under the previous regime. So like if it was Dan Didio,
Huh.
I would say, yeah, there's a good chance that this is exactly what happened
Mhm.
based on what we know about him, but Marie Javins doesn't have that reputation.
Right.
And it might have come from above her, but like the reputation I know of Marie Javins, if she didn't agree with it on some level, she wouldn't have been the one to make the phone call.
Mm. I not to change subject too harshly, but one thing I wish I had said earlier, the I hope the bullet's okay. That was actually an allusion to the same tweet after Donald Trump had been grazed by a bullet. It's not
I don't
off the
remember
top.
who. I don't remember did she make that tweet or did
I
tweet
don't
or
believe
did
so. I would have to
I
look it up, but I
I
remember
vaguely
that being an
remember
illusion. Yeah.
that tweet and I vaguely remember being appalled by it then
That's
too. I
that's
mean,
fair. That's fair. But I would also add that I think that one was made before news that he had passed, with just that he had been shot, not that he was dead.
Correct.
no, I
So
understand.
yeah.
I understand. I mean, and I think and again, I cannot emphasize enough that I'm not calling for her to never work again. I'm not
Oh yeah,
even
no, no,
calling
no.
for her to never work at DC again, though it seems like she
Well,
wouldn't be willing to, and that's
she said
okay.
so. She said she would turn it
No,
in.
I know. Like I said, it seems like she wouldn't be willing to, but as I'm not going to hold her to her comments regarding violence, I'm not going to hold her to her comments regarding DC if they came back to her a year from now and said, "We're ready to publish it, can we?"
Oh,
Because again, under
They don't need her permission.
probably not. But I mean, and
it
that's
depends on what her contract looked like
it does. But and here's the thing is that
and how much
I
she
can't
turned in.
I can't imagine that ever happening, quite frankly. I mean, yeah, I hope it does.
I
It's one
mean,
of those where like,
how many
hey,
times have they reprinted Superman's Babysitter?
Superman's babysitter? I'm not familiar with that one.
The
Yeah.
Kyle Baker story that they literally pulped 1,000 copies of
Oh,
rather than putting it out, and then it won an Eisner as an unpublished story.
when was that? What year was that?
It might have been before you were born.
It's possible. I'm just curious because I'm like, oh, that sounds
It was the
fascinating.
late '90s.
Oh, I was born. I was born for the whole 90s.
Okay,
Yeah,
but you were young,
yeah.
and essentially, I mean that essentially became like Jack.
Mm.
Particularly the short and the first Incredibles is like so based on
Oh,
On that,
interesting.
yeah. I
Okay.
don't know
um
why. I don't know why, but I love finding out years people were born. So I'm
yeah,
81. Tad, you're 80.
80.
Matt, you were what?
I'm 76.
76. And then Phil, you are
I've been here since
2000?
the dawn of time. God, no. 1990. 1990.
90. Okay, sorry.
I was there when the first fish
All right.
crawled out of the water.
But
Yeah,
but for that matter, I'm still expecting, I haven't gone back and I'm still expecting that the bat dong will reappear at some point.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to
Everything
mention the
reappears
bat
at some
dong.
point.
Like that's the funny thing is that is the bat
Wasn't
dong.
that Black
Oh
Label,
goodness.
though? You know?
Yeah,
Well,
but
this
like
was Black Label too.
no, it wasn't.
Oh,
No, it wasn't. It is
Red
Yes,
Hood?
this was
You had it
supposed.
right
proper.
there.
This is not
Oh.
Black Label. This is
I thought they
mature
called it the
readers
first.
in universe.
Well, but I thought they'd called it the first Black Label in universe, but maybe they changed that at the last minute.
They might have.
It was originally solicited as the first in universe Black Label title.
Mhm.
But again, like I think there's a difference between losing a job, particularly a work for hire gig, and full cancellation or any violence against you, or she didn't commit a crime or anything, but she
No,
did do something that, like, when you're working for a major corporation, there are rules, and
yes, but my biggest thing is that means the harassment campaign against her worked. The
Yes.
people who were actively trying to get her fired succeeded. And I don't want that. Those people
Yeah,
suck.
and I totally agree with you, but they're also like the least competent batch of people I've ever seen. So did
I
they
don't
get her
know.
fired, or
But they
did they
have a
take
ton
credit
of
for it?
influence. Yeah, least competent,
I
sure.
mean, they were the ones who published articles about past tweets of hers that the first call was made about. The first call wasn't about anything she had said
Well,
recently. It was about her
but
past comments.
no, you the first call. I mean, because she told DC. I mean, the way I read it is she
Mhm.
told DC about all of that stuff, so none of it was
Yes.
news to DC.
No, she told DC
So
about
the
all that stuff.
call, the
The
the way
call then
I
happened
the
3
way
weeks
I
ago.
no, the way I understand it is the call she got was, "Hey, there's fire. We want to keep you out of it. Be careful."
And she didn't. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's one of those things, like I said,
I
where
mean, in some ways, if they, I mean, again, if like they had hired her knowing this sort of thing and they hadn't called her when they started to worry about possible pushback from above, then yeah, I'd be way more down DC's throat. But based exclusively on what she has said publicly, I think they behaved how they had to. I don't
With
love it.
but letting her go, sure. But like canceling the book, and then pulling the
Well,
first issue from the shelves. I mean,
well, but we just
wow.
talked about that. DC did not pull the first issue from the shelves.
True. I
DC
know.
refunded the first issue.
And then the
Uh,
shops can do what they want.
right. There's some reports that Lunar asked shops to pull the
Which I saw. Yep.
but there's no indication that even Lunar required, and there's certainly massive indications that even if Lunar was trying to require, they might as well not have wasted their time because most of the copies are on eBay right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would like to know just how many copies were printed and how many were returned.
Right.
Just to get that percentage.
well,
in my
apparently
brain.
they weren't even necessarily returning them, they were trashing them.
Mm. Well,
But
whatever.
that's going to be a shop. I mean, I know a couple of shops that I bet you would have trashed them even if they didn't get. These are shops that I don't shop at. But you know, I mean, it's an icky situation. I
Yeah.
don't deny that at all, but I think that it's one that if you start taking sides bigger than what's reasonable expectations, and the reasonable expectation of a publicly traded company is that they will do what's best for their bottom line.
Damn straight.
And let's remember that that publicly traded company is Warner Brothers, recently split off from Discovery. So,
Yeah.
like you said, it's entirely possible that those things could have come from the business daddies as opposed to.
Oh, I guarantee it came from the business daddies.
Yeah.
I actually I think highly enough of Marie Javins that if she didn't agree on some levels, she would have made them fire her first.
Mm.
You know, I don't want to guarantee that, but her reputation in the industry is rock solid. And it's not like they fired all of their trans writers.
Well, wait. Oh no, Jadzia's there. That's fair.
Sophie Campbell's on Supergirl.
Yeah, yeah.
You know. So do I like Comicsgate to ever get a win? No. Do I
Yeah,
think they
exactly.
really got a win here? No.
Well,
They
I
think
think they're celebrating it.
They
Yeah.
of course they celebrate comics that they promised 5 years ago and still haven't gotten out. If we got upset every time we gave the right an excuse to celebrate, they celebrate every fucking thing.
Yeah.
Our
And yet
job
they're-
is to be better.
Yeah. And yet they're all upset about people who have no empathy for the death of Charlie Kirk.
Right.
If it was,
And I have
one of their
absolute empathy
opponents,
for the
they
death of
would be
Charlie Kirk,
celebrating,
though I think there's a great deal of irony to the death of Charlie Kirk.
as do I.
But
but it's not something that his wife deserved. It's not something that his 3 and 1 year old child deserved. It's not something that he deserved.
Correct.
But I like to
But
think that
but it
that's a
but
way
it
that I'm wiser than Charlie Kirk.
but here's the thing. But it happened. We can't change it, and
Right.
we don't. And
Well, I also don't think he needs to be lionized.
Right.
no, no.
That's
I mean,
not
there's a
doing
difference between lionizing somebody and saying that political violence or really violence under
No,
any
but
aggressive circumstances is unacceptable and tragic.
and
You know what? I would agree with you until recently, but now this is the world we live in. I feel like we need to step in and play the game the way it's being played.
Damn straight.
And I'm sorry that that sounds really horrible, but we're
I
being
think if
forced
we
into a
do, we
corner.
lose.
But Tad, we were losing either way.
Exactly.
No,
We're not doing
what
anything. The left is not
but
doing a
what
thing.
what I
So
mean is, if we do, we
We're no better
lose.
than them.
It's not just that we're no better than them. By playing the game their way, you're acknowledging that that is the only way it can be played.
so unfortunately,
it
I think
is.
that's I
I
think at
honestly
least on
think
the
so.
on the political level, I think that's kind of already happening. You can see that with the Dem establishment kind of
I mean, it's
literally
happened
bending over
before, and
backwards further.
when we, I mean, this sort of thing has happened in the United States before,
Mhm.
where we've fallen into eras of political violence, and like when we get out of them is when one side stops playing.
But you know what's funny, Tad? They blamed the left. They blamed the
I know
lunatic
they do.
left, and it wasn't the left that shot him.
No,
Yep.
No.
So,
no, it was
was a
likely
groiper.
somebody who was
Now the
very,
argument that
very
I'm seeing
likely.
is that he was radicalized while in college.
No, there's a really good chance that he was apolitical entirely.
Yeah, I know.
Again, the people who claim to be
I mean,
apolitical
we're
are
gonna
right
get
wing.
it. No.
Yes,
he
they
grew up in a
are. They
conservative,
absolutely
white,
are.
Christian, Mormon home full
Right?
of guns. His father was a sheriff.
They are disingenuous bad actors. They claim
Exactly.
to be just making jokes and to be apolitical as a cover for being
Correct.
pieces of shit.
And I'm
Exactly.
sorry,
That's
to
exactly
anyone
how
who's
it,
making millions of dollars preaching hate, misogyny, and racism.
No,
It really-
Charlie
I
Kirk.
cannot
Charlie
have
Kirk
that.
is
Kirk
not a
was
good
political.
person.
No, I'm talking
he
about.
was overtly political and not somebody that I would support in any way. But I mean, I've read a couple of articles like digging into the actual stuff and into Gen Z humor culture.
Mhm.
yeah.
I don't think they're right wing. I do think they're apolitical, and I think that they're, I mean, just convinced that it doesn't matter because it's what they've been taught all their life. They've been doing shooting drills since kindergarten.
Exactly.
They've
Right.
been, you know, every
Whether they want to
time
label
something
themselves as
horrible
right wing or
happens in
not,
their,
they are.
Yeah. Right.
This is where I'd also say that I don't think anything is apolitical.
I don't either.
we
Everything
can
is
go
Exactly.
there, and that's. But I guess what I mean is they're non-ideological.
Again, I disagree. Everyone has an ideology. Even
Exactly.
attempting to have a lack of ideology is an ideology in and of itself. It's a tactical move. Like they're not just trying
That's
to say,
interesting.
"Oh, we don't care about politics." No, we don't care about politics. They're literally trying to say that, "Oh, well, what we do has no effect on politics," when it absolutely fucking does.
Yep.
It is politics.
No,
Everything we do.
actually,
Interacting with
I
each
think
other.
what they're saying is, you guys keep saying this stuff has no effect, so let's do some more of it until you decide that it has an effect.
And you're saying that you think that's the attitude of people on 4chan and 8kun and all of those deep right-wing areas?
I don't think that that's where this kid was.
We
There's no
have to look
evidence of
into that.
that.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
I mean,
I
so
think
far
it's
the
helpful
evidence
enough
is
that-
that he was really, really, really into TikTok.
Okay.
Is that why he danced his way off the roof? No, I'm kidding.
Also,
I mean,
like, why?
so far the evidence
Matt, you
was
might
that
get fired.
He was a
Yeah.
Twitch gamer.
Uh,
You know.
I've been reading stuff, and I have no idea about the verity of it, but like, what I have read is that he felt like Charlie Kirk wasn't radical enough, wasn't
Enough.
conservative enough.
And that's
Okay.
possible.
That's exactly what I'm going with. I'm like, that's very
But
political. That's very,
I,
and
I
this,
guess
so
a lot of that is I've been seeing from sources that I find I have a short list of people that I think really think before they write about stuff like this and
yeah.
who really don't try to pigeonhole into one thing or another while they're gathering information. And those are the people that are like digging deep into Gen Z meme culture and going, oh, this isn't like anything like what we thought.
Mm.
Yeah, I think.
And enough of it reminds me of my students' behavior. I mean, my students' behavior not being, I mean, I don't have any students that I think are violent, but I
Mhm,
definitely have students that I know laugh at this sort of stuff, and I like had no idea why, and it's starting to click in.
mhm.
Um, I mean, one of the great things that I've seen pointed out a lot of times is like Gen Z, 9/11 is history.
Mhm.
It's true.
Yeah.
They have lived their entire lives in a world where climate change is a hoax, even though it clearly isn't,
Mhm.
where school shootings are things that there's nothing we can do about, even though other nations do,
Mm-hmm.
where somehow healthcare is a political topic rather than a right, again, despite what other nations do. They've also lived their entire lives on the internet, which means that more than any other generation, they have access and a decent picture of how the rest of the world lives.
Or at least how it's portrayed online.
Yeah.
Both. I mean, the number of people I know who have pen pals in other countries is ridiculous.
It's interesting. I feel like I'm getting a thought here that like as we're getting more connected to being able to learn how people across the world works, or are portrayed, I feel like we're developing less of an ability to tell the difference between the two.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes. And like as a teacher, I will also say that one of the biggest places that we've failed Gen Z is we've become more and more unwilling to have hard discussions in classrooms.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that.
No, I will, I'm not teaching this year, but I would do it. I got in trouble all the time
No, I do
because I
too.
wouldn't shut my
I do
mouth.
too. But I meant collectively.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I agree, and I
It's the
absolutely agree
schools.
that.
It's not the teachers.
No, yeah.
It's the administration putting their
I
thumb
mean,
down saying, don't talk about this.
Yep.
I didn't say it was the teachers deliberately,
Yeah.
but the schools are the teachers. If the teachers unions push back hard, but they'd have to worry about losing the parents who are also part of the school. I mean, for a school to work, it needs to be an ecosystem. And right now, the ecosystem is drowning out things that are supposed to be divisive because they want school to feel safe. And since there's no way to make it feel safe in that you won't get shot, they want it to feel safe in that nobody's going to tell you your ideas are wrong.
And it's, I'm sorry, but people need to be told when they're wrong. If you
I
don't do that,
told
how can they
no, Phil.
grow?
No, I agree with you,
I
Phil. You don't
know,
need
I
to
know.
apologize for that.
Yeah, the
But
problem
what I'm
is their
saying
parents didn't do it
is
when they were raising them.
is like when like for the last few years, more and more we have had a culture of violent means can be justified by anything. A terrorist attack justifies a genocide. Um, you know, uh, Possible voter fraud, not possible voter fraud. There was no fucking voter fraud, but allegations of voter fraud justify storming the Capitol. Um, y- you know, like the post 9/11 world has had a significant increase in political violence and in the United States, violence in general. Um,
I would even say it goes back to Columbine because when we started having school shootings as a norm, that's
but
when we had
post
this divide of guns, us versus
right,
them, right?
but like immediately post Columbine, there were
Hmm.
actually, bipartisan support for like some gun
Yeah,
regulations.
there sure was.
Whereas immediately post Sandy Hook, there were some Republicans that started talking about red flag laws, and the gun lobby went into high gear fighting red flag laws.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um, so again, if I'm going to call out Israel, if I'm going to call out Russia, if I'm going to call out the January Sixers, if I'm going to call out the assassin in Minnesota, if I'm going to call out the guy that beat up Paul Pelosi, if I'm going to call out the guy that shot Steve Scalise, if I'm going to call out the guys that shot at Donald Trump, I also need to call out the guy that shot at Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, I
No
don't
matter
think
what I think of Charlie,
right.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
It's all
you know,
wrong.
Yeah, it's
and
all
I
wrong, but what did they expect?
right.
That's my
Well,
opinion.
but
I'm like,
well, and that puts you in with the Gen Z crowd.
is it? Okay. That's their opinion. Okay.
He's just trying to be hip. He's got a
Yeah,
customer
you're
base to
being hip,
connect to.
man. It's all
Honestly,
wrong, but what
okay.
are we gonna do about it? So
We're gonna
let's
see you
just
with
blow the world up, and we'll get more into this because I think it was a spectacular week to wind up picking Spectators as
Oh
our
yeah.
book to read.
Yeah, that was
Um,
the perfect time.
Matt,
to pick
if
that
you
book.
haven't read Brian K. Vaughan's Spectators, you really, really should. But
I have
before we get
not.
to that,
Okay.
let's quickly hit some books up for order. We've got Daredevil Punisher from Jimmy Palmiotti and Tommaso Bianchi. Do you have what it takes to pull the trigger? Daredevil and the Punisher, two of Marvel's mightiest, with one of the most celebrated storied rivalries in comics, find themselves at odds not only with each other, but with New York's criminal element once again. Frank Castle was pitted against the Nushi family for their most violent and visceral confrontation yet. As their conflict threatens to tear Hell's Kitchen apart, it'll fall to Daredevil to contain the chaos. In stores October 20th. Bill.
All right. Next up, we've got Aerotech. SHP presents Aerotech #1, Bad Bosses, Crazy Coworkers, and Sex Robots. What could go wrong? Aerotech is the story of Samantha Jenkins, new Silicon Valley CEO, trying to rally her team of misfit engineers and out-of-touch managers to release the new Model 6000 on time. Testing is going well, but there's still a few bugs to work out. Includes the first installment of AI Joe, a new feature from indie comics legend Dean Haspiel. And that's going to be in stores November 19th. From who is this?
SHP and
SHP. Okay.
Darren S. Cape and Jeffrey Krozik.
Oh, Jared, I'm so sorry. I forgot to read the creative team.
Tyler.
All right. This is No Place from Tim Seeley and Stefano Simone from Ignition. Eisner-nominated writer Tim Seeley and knockout artist Stefano Simone invite you to explore the chilling side of childhood imagination in this new dark fantasy adventure. Mariposa Montiel is having a cruel homecoming. As the daughter of immigrants, the outcast teenager is no stranger to scrutiny, but this is another level. Years after vanishing from her Chicago neighborhood, Mari has returned to a traumatized family and a media circus with nothing but a tiger-striped feather and an extraordinary tale of her time away as the champion of a magical jungle land called Mayahuila. Mayahula?
My Huela.
Hoila. This is again from Ignition and out November 5th.
Some graphic novels. Tyler, you get to lead off.
I think this was me, actually.
No,
yeah.
that is
Oh, this
Phil.
was Phil.
I did.
Yep.
This
I so expect Tyler to pick the Rick Remenders that
I almost did, but I went with the next one because it looked kind of cool.
Yeah, this is Black Heart Billy 25th Anniversary Edition. Meet Billy Black, skate punk misfit with a robotic head, a bottomless supply of sarcastic contempt for society, and terrible impulse control. His life is a never-ending quest for fun, punk rock debauchery, and skating abandoned pools until a deranged Nazi scientist decides to bring Adolf Hitler back inside the reanimated corpse of Jerry Garcia. Now, San Francisco is rapidly descending into a fascist hippie nightmare, and only Billy, armed with a snide disdain, a baseball bat, and reckless disregard for personal safety, can defeat this self-righteous, patchouli-soaked moral authority. In stores, December 17th from Image. It's got to be. It's Rick Remender.
Image.
And Kieran Dwyer was the artist on that.
Yes. Comfortless by Miguel Villa. This book makes no claims to scientific validity and is in no way intended for informational purposes. So declares Miguel Villa in the outset of his new graphic novel, Comfortless, a taxonomy of mass with which we pretend to live, executed with the precision of a master sociologist. It collects a kaleidoscope of weaving character studies, united by the ways vanity, jealousy, and selfishness manifest via fear, vice, and lust. Georgia ends her relationship with Eva because she thinks her fling with Nick has resulted in her pregnancy. Dun, dun, dun. This is going to be in shops from Fantagraphics on November 12th.
Globetrotters, Nellie Bly and Elizabeth Byland's World Tour. Breathless, lively, and gripping nonfiction graphic novel recounting the true tale of a race between two fearless female journalists, one of the most famous publicity stunts ever attempted. In the 1800s, newspaper is king, and female journalists are few and far between. Intrepid reporters Nellie Bly and Elizabeth Byland are pitted against the clock and each other in a madcap publicity stunt that the whole world is watching. Read all about one of the first viral news stories reported on and starring these two journalists in the race of their careers. Everyone knows about Jules Verne's Around the World in 80 Days, but what about a real-life mad dash around the world in less than 80 days? This is the challenge that journalist Nellie Bly tackles in 1889. Her mission is to beat the famous fictional record set by Phileas Fogg, the main character of Jules Verne's first novel. This is from Julien Volage and Julie Rochelot, out from, I believe, Abrams, but my screen, yes, Abrams, on November 5th. So some
listeners, if you hear a weird noise, that is just my pug on my lap. She is very noisy.
The Zoom noise canceling is actually ridiculously good. Remember, you had to edit in the wolf howls that we did directly into microphones because
they were too loud. No, but Ellie
decided
here,
that they
just so noisy.
This series wraps up this week, and I'm really looking forward to it. Buried long, long ago, from Anthony Cleveland and Alex Cormack, based on true events from 1901 to 1908. Belle Gunness lured dozens of lonely men to her Indiana farm and savagely murdered them for their money. Because Belle managed to avoid capture and face trial, much of the story remains untold until now. In this fairy tale retelling of her brutal crimes from the perspective of her three young children, who soon discover there's something far worse and far more evil than their mother on the farm, something buried long, long ago. In stores on November 26th from Mad Cave.
All right, this is Under York from Sylvan Runberg and Merkel Delfo. Allison Walker is a promising young painter in Manhattan, but she has a secret. She is also a witch. She and her family belong to the world of Under York, a mysterious underground New York where 5 powerful clans of witches have reigned for centuries. These families, with their strict codes of life drawn from the country's main communities, African, Irish, Chinese, Mexican, and Amerindian, practice magic as powerful as it is dangerous. This is going to be in shops on November 26th from Image.
All righty. And next up, we've got We're Taking Everyone Down With Us. After her mad scientist father is killed by the world's greatest spy, 13-year-old Annalise is left alone in the world. Sort of. Her dead dad's robot bodyguard won't stop following her around for some reason. Now Annalise has a choice to try to lead a normal life for the first time ever, or seek revenge and maybe overthrow the world order in the process. That is from Matthew Rosenberg and Stefano Landini in stores November 26th from Image
And
Comics.
it is also so good. Final order cutoff on September 22nd. We have the return of The Beauty with a new #1 from Jeremy Hahn, Jason H. Hurley, Emmanuel Lupacino, and Ignition Press. Cat Mask Boy from Linus Liu from Nakama Mad Cave, out October 15th. The Beauty was out October 29th. Craniacs #1 from Charlie Fish and Joe Simcoe from Titan, out October 15th. Facing Feelings Inside the World of Raina Telgemeier from Scholastic, out October 22nd. Godzilla vs. America, Kansas City from Freddie E. Williams, Baltimore Rivas, Jake Smith, and more, out from IDW October 29th. Synthetics Volume 1, #1 from J. Michael Straczynski and Tony Parker at Dark Horse on October 29th, and a pair of Mark Russell books, Terabytes #1 with Felix Ruiz, out from Mad Cave on October 15th, and Thanksgiving One Shot with Morissette, out from Ahoy on October 22nd. Crowdfunding right now, we have Funeral Home from Michelle Abinader and Fell Hound on Kickstarter through September 22nd. We'll be talking to them next week. And we have The Future Is from Volume 2, Origins, from Fred Van Lente, Ennio Buffy, Mario D'Alessandro, and Andrea Maloney and Taylor Esposito from Recca on Kickstarter until October 3rd. We just had Fred Van Lente and publisher Adam Freeman on to talk about that. Check that out. This also includes one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a crowdfunding campaign, which is if you support it at anything $25 or higher, with the digital version, I think is priced at $25. They will also include a $25 gift certificate to your local comic shop. So you tell them what it is, they'll reach out, they'll arrange to send the money to get you the gift certificate or the store credit or whatever it takes. So they're doing a Kickstarter to not only sell their collective edition, but to directly benefit local comic shops. Because
I like that. That's a really good idea.
First $25 of any purchase will go to the comic shops. So, all right. What did you love this week, Tyler, for the last time? I'm having too many last times lately.
These are the ultimate amazing books, Tyler. These are
Well-
Tyler's ultimate amazing books.
Well, here's the thing. Exceptional X-Men. I thought this was going to end, but it's not. E-viewing is just amazing. You guys, she's great. I don't know if you read any X-Men series, read Exceptional X-Men. And then Federica Manson is on art. Hellboy in Love, The Art of Fire #2 from Mike Mignola and Christopher Golden. Art by Alex Nieto from Dark Horse. And then you guys know this. I'm loving the Absolute Universe. Absolute Batman #13 from Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta. I think what I like about it is they feel like indie comics, you know?
I think that you somehow managed to read 3 books this week that I didn't get to.
Mm.
So your 3 and my 3 are completely different.
Well, I almost had Powers 25. Sorry for spoiling your #1, but
That's
I almost
okay.
had that on there. But I saw that you did it. So
I'm kind of amazed that Spectators didn't make it. I think it's mostly because I'd already called it out as a book that I knew was spectacular that I didn't put Spectators on. I also thought that which ones did I actually manage to get? Don't Forget Your Briefcase was absolutely outstanding.
I have that in
Bruce
my
Wayne
pile. I
was
have not read it
outstanding.
yet, though.
Um, which was the other ones that I actually managed to read. It's been a long
I
week.
read Hello Darkness,
Free
number
Planet
14.
was
That was
really
really
good.
good.
Future, I say I didn't get to Hello Darkness either. Future is number 5 was really good. Feral number 16 was so
Yeah.
good.
Remember when that
But
started? We were like all about it. That was so good.
oh yeah, I'm still all about it.
Are you?
Um,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, Powers 25 was an old friend coming back.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
like it's that old friend that like you're so close to them that you don't even really realize that it's been 5 years since you talked until you do, and it's like, God, I missed this. But you can also see how they've grown in like experience and wisdom in that time, and you like them even more.
Yes,
That was Powers 25 to me.
I agree. That was good.
It was so good.
Mhm.
And Trinity, daughter of Wonder Woman number 4, Tom, why do
This
you make
wasn't on
me
my top,
laugh and
but
cry all at once?
Chris Condon with Ultimate Wolverine was so good. Um,
That's literally the next book on my pile. I haven't gotten to it yet.
that was my number 4.
Yeah. Um, and then Gracie's Ghost, which we talked about when it was coming out, and I actually managed to give a read. A really poignant story about dealing with childhood bullying, being a good person, being a good person in spite of people not being good to you.
Yeah.
Um, it's another book that was a good one for this week because that's really, in a lot of ways, to me, that's the test of this moment is like, can I keep my humanity and keep my own moral compass even as something horrible happens to somebody that like I don't I don't particularly like,
Eh,
And this is also one of those places where I think that like murder is different from death. I have no problem with like scathing obituaries of like a Rush Limbaugh or
Henry
Henry
Kissinger.
Kissinger, right?
Or
Spencer
James
Ackerman,
Dobson.
the best. And for that matter, um, Charlie Kirk doesn't deserve, and I think a lot of the press hasn't been pussyfooting. I mean, that's actually the thing that like has caught my attention is that like even those of us who like want to make certain. I mean, a writer I like called out the Ezra Klein uh, op-ed that the New York Times put the headline on of Charlie Kirk was doing politics right, which Ezra Klein did have that sentence, but he caveated it, and like the op-ed itself is not actually particular. Like if you read the whole thing, like the only part of Charlie Kirk is doing the politics right is that he said is that like he is out there talking to and listening to anybody and making his case verbally. And then he spent the rest of the op-ed essentially saying, I don't agree with any of it. His positions very much led to the world that allowed for this to happen.
Yeah.
But he's also reaching this group of people because he's actually going out and trying to reach this group of people in a way that not many people are. Um, so yeah, like even that one, I'm like, I don't think this is lionizing. I mean, the headline is, but I mean, anybody who knows newspapers knows that like headline writing is a completely different department from article writing. You don't get to write your own headlines. Um,
That's like one of the most bullshit things I've. I mean, I think I've factually known that, but I just mean bullshit in the sense of like it lets people color an article one way so that the people who
Yeah.
don't read it think one thing, but then the people who do read it think another thing.
That's literally the point.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
totally
but
agree that it's a bullshit thing, but it's also been true in newspapers since like Hearst and Pulitzer.
Yes.
and comics do the same thing. In this issue,
Right.
everyone dies.
Right.
You know what? Honestly, I mean, that's one of my
Or
least favorite
including a
parts about
character on the
comics.
cover that isn't in the story, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
to be honest, the headline is supposed to get you to read the article.
Hmm.
Not trick you.
I think the headlines have actually changed since newspapers realized that there were lots of people who only read headlines and didn't make it any more likely for them to read the articles. I think you get a lot more misleading or what's the word I'm looking for? Misleading or
Hey Tad, I'm just looking at the clock. Can
yeah,
we
we
keep
got to
it
move.
moving?
Whatever.
All right,
Yeah,
Phil, you're up.
yeah.
I was being
Phil,
quick.
you're up.
So I heard that there were people out there that didn't want Red Hood #1 to be read, and so I said, "Fuck you! I'm going to read that anyway."
And good,
And it was really good. It was good.
Yeah.
It was really fucking good. Again, I've been talking lately. I don't know the last Marvel DC superhero. This is it. I'm happy that this was the one that broke the seal, and gonna go right back to probably not spending money on superheroes. But yeah, it was really good, and that's why it's
Wait a
like,
minute. It almost sounds like you're saying that you're glad it was canceled because you don't have to
no,
spend
I'm
money
so
on
sorry.
superheroes.
That's a good point. It's a good point. I was talking faster than I could think on that one. No, I am not glad it was canceled. And it's anyway, moving on.
That was my gallows humor, Phil.
Thank you, Ted. You keep me on my toes.
That was your gallows humor.
Yeah,
That's pretty tame, Tad.
In relation, yeah, right.
That's my point.
That,
I'm okay with killing 5 issues of a series. I don't want Gretchen killed. Do not.
No. But it's one of my favorite parables that this situation is reminding me of is the scorpion and the frog. Anyone not familiar with it? There is a scorpion on the edge of a lake that looks at a frog and says, "Hey, I need to ride across." Frog says, "No, thank you. You're going to sting me." The scorpion says, "No, I won't do that. I need to get across the lake
ridiculous.
too.
Yeah.
Why would I do that?" Frog says, "Okay, jump on my back." And he's paddling and he's paddling. He gets about halfway before that stinger sinks in. And he says, "Why have you done this? Surely we will both drown." And the scorpion says, "Because I am the scorpion." Related
It's
to
just
that,
it's just its nature, right?
it's its nature, yes. Related
Yeah.
to that, the Tower. The Tower was the villain mentioned in this issue of Red Hood, and it also feels applicable to the tarot card of the Tower, which anyone unfamiliar with tarot, they're usually afraid of death. Death's not so bad. Death's okay. He's cool. He can stay. The Tower is a different beast entirely. It is calamity. It is the upending of everything you know. It's a thing. It's a beast. It feels applicable to our current moment in time, and this situation in general. I could talk more about it. And next up, then, The Private Eye by Brian K. Vaughan, Marcos Martin, and Panel Syndicate / Image. It was a good book. It was probably, I think it might still be my favorite Brian K. Vaughan book, but just wanted to mention it because of where we're going next. But first, the One Piece race.
I haven't
You ready
moved.
in One Piece this week?
No,
I haven't
I
either.
didn't. No.
We're in
still...
calm waters this week. So on to Spectators.
Spectators was awesome. I had not read this before you brought it up, Ted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it officially came out this week, unless you were members of Brian K. Vaughan's The Tower.
Yeah, but I meant like I hadn't even heard.
That's the name of his. That's the name of his
newsletter.
Substack. That's funny. That's really funny. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
All kinds of synchronicity going on today.
Right. And we picked this out last week before this week came about. Um, but I think it's incredibly apropos.
Yeah, it was
Does
probably the best
anybody
time
want
to
to
read
do
the
the
book.
basic summary of the tower? And we're going to avoid most spoilers,
Or
but
or
because it's only been out for a few
Spectators.
days. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It opens with a woman in a movie theater that quickly turns into an active shooting situation, and everyone in the theater dies, and then she becomes a ghost that can now observe humanity. And there are other ghosts that she encounters and meets and talks to along the way, and it I was really enjoying just the it felt like a comic book version of like, hey, we're gonna try to this book is like a condensed representation of reality, warts and all. That's really how it felt. And it was one of those things
I
where
mean, not particularly convinced because it's 300 and some odd pages, but
well, I when you're condensing all of reality,
that's true. That's true.
you do end up with a fair chunk. But
Um,
the art was gorgeous, absolutely.
Yeah. I
and it,
really liked the cover, right? The cover has the two characters in color, and the background is just grays, muted grays,
Hmm.
and it's all done in watercolor,
The
um, which I think
well, I
is
mean,
really
depends on
cool.
which cover you're
Yeah,
looking at.
the hardcover.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the cowboy and the girl floating in the air.
That's
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
apparently
yeah.
the back cover. So, but yeah, the front cover is
Oh,
a
it
pair
is?
of
That's the
eyes.
back cover? Oh.
Now, yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
it was probably the original one for the comic, but then they went with a
Right.
different one because it's
Yeah,
going to hit the book market.
to give them more time to read, I may have sent them the PDF copy um from when it
From the
was
tower?
completed on the Substack.
What do
Um,
you guys think of the interior is colored with? It looks like colored pencil,
Possibly.
I can imagine, yeah. But I mean, it's so here's the
but it
thing,
watercolor too. It's
and
really cool.
I love mentioning that. So this one was a really great one to read on the phone because the
Uh,
way the PDF was formatted is that I had to zoom in to get the comic to fill the whole screen, and then
yeah.
when I hit a double page splash, it was like sitting in a theater, like being in an environment, and I had to sort of wiggle it left and right to see what was on either side, like literally almost looking around. So there's some really fun stuff going on in this comic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the kind of thing that
Matt, have you gotten any of the messages I've sent you in the last couple of minutes?
Yes, I was scanning through it, not actually reading,
Okay.
but looking through, getting the
No, no, no.
gist.
Okay.
I mean
I
it's
That's
didn't
why I've
see
been
your
so
hands
quiet.
moving
Sorry.
or anything, so I wanted to make
yeah.
certain.
And there were a couple of those moments, those double page splashes that I wondered. I'm like, oh, I don't know how well this would hold up with the crease in or the split in a physical copy. And
No,
that's
there's actually at least one
uh-huh.
where I don't like it as much in the physical
Yeah,
copy.
yeah. It's like where
The
you're sitting in a theater.
well, yeah, the movie theater and
Hmm.
the end of the train robbery
Oh, okay. Into the tree. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah.
that
Um,
Sam's talking about later on.
uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it
No,
was
it was definitely designed initially for their Substack, and
mhm.
um yeah, that there are definitely times where the spreads would probably be are slightly better digital. Um and I mean that happens, and
Yeah.
it's a well laid out book. They do as good as you can,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
I'm not going to complain about the spread of the two ghosts floating down to the street amidst all the
Hmm.
chaos, and
Yeah.
one of them is naked. I'm not gonna.
Oh, okay.
I
You're
was
not
gonna
gonna
say
plan.
for your last episode, all right, Tyler, we can finally talk about sex.
Yes. All right,
Um,
guys. How does this work? Um,
That
but
was good. That was good.
I mean the thing that made it to me um resonate so much
mhm.
with current events. I mean, one of the things that I think doesn't get talked about enough with the first assassination of Trump attempt on Trump is that, yeah, you could say he was right wing because he was steeped in gun ideology and whatnot, but I mean, this is kind of one of the places where I go back to um, what I was saying about non-ideological, or at least non-ideological in a way that's easy for us to recognize. Um, reportedly he was researching both candidates and picked Trump because Trump was closer to home. If Biden had been closer to home, he would have tried to shoot Biden. So it wasn't a I want to
Yeah, that
get
that
rid
that
of
really.
Trump as much as a I want to be a presidential assassin.
Yeah, and that the line of in this book of with the active shooters where they say, "I just want to see how many people I can kill." Like, yeah, I
Right,
felt that.
right.
I
That
felt
that
that.
that that the hashtag what is it with
Hashtag
the shooter at
leaderboard.
the beginning? Yeah, hashtag leaderboard.
Yeah,
And he's sitting there complaining, how did the guy in Vegas get to 60? This is taking forever.
yeah, yeah.
Um and like I think it speaks to the way, like, by downplay, I mean, it's bad enough that we don't do anything about the violence, but the way that we downplay it, the way that we move on, the way that we treat it as a fact of life, like, uh, I can't wait for a few more kids from this era to be old enough that I feel comfortable asking them to be regulars on the show, because, like, I don't know what it's like to have had an active shooter drill every year of my life in school.
I mean, I
I
I
don't know
had
what
those,
it's.
but I
Yeah,
had those, but
you
they
had
were
some.
kind of a joke because it wasn't as bad when I was in school.
Well, but also they didn't start in kindergarten.
Exactly, exactly. For me, I think we had our first one in middle school, but they were annual by the time I got to high school.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And for
And,
that matter, if I mean, even in my 10 years of teaching, we've changed our processes like four times.
mhm.
And none of them are actually like, none of them pass basic logic if there's somebody who has any knowledge of what you might do and an AR-15.
Mhm.
They're all essentially to make the adults feel like they've done something.
Yeah. This is I
Uh,
it's, to keep my stomach from turning. I just wanted to share the one teacher who took those drills most seriously was a guy. He was Mr. Jatella. I don't have a problem saying his name on air. He was a good guy, and he taught military history. That was the class I took from him. He taught other classes, but that was the one I took. And when the lights went out for the drill, he said, "Okay, everyone, because of the way the class was, with like, all right, the door is at a corner." He said, "We're going to point the overhead projector at the door so that if anyone comes by, you shine the light in the eyes to blind them. And then I'm going to come in with this literal Greek hoplite spear that is 6 feet tall and going to fucking stab him." So literally, he wasn't just someone who, like so many other people of the time, didn't really take it seriously and said, "Okay, we're just going to wait it out." He was, "No, this is how you act." To the point where when there were school officials that would come to check on him, they would get the light in the eyes, and they would have to, as approaching, warn him, "Hey, I am. This is a drill. I am an administrator or something." Um,
Funny.
so that's what I think of whenever I think of those moments, and I'm
yeah,
thankful that I've never had to be
but
in
but
one of those
but at the
situations for
same
real.
time, I mean, he's taking it seriously. But like, if one of the possible shooters, was in that room, and like, there's lots of evidence that, like, there's a good chance that whoever's doing the shooting has been to the
Mhm,
school or whatever, they're
mhm.
going to go, okay, when I hit his room, I shoot and then I open the door.
Yeah, the thing about that though is that I mean, I went to Wabanzi, so
Right.
my graduating class was 1,000 people. The school would have been too big for a single run. The layout too hazardous. And again, not everyone had every teacher, so
Right.
you
No,
know.
no, I know, but what I'm saying is there is evidence after evidence after evidence that whatever the school's plan
Hmm.
just starts getting accounted for.
Hmm.
Um, and for that matter, as you just pointed out, it's that big. So yeah, it works out great if the shooter comes to his room, and not at all if the shooter's elsewhere.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, there is a imperfect but relatively well tested and effective solution. It's like,
No guns.
well, it's not even no guns. It's greater registration and tracking of guns.
Yeah.
It's a process for getting the guns. I
Yeah.
mean, less guns is great, but even if there's just a higher amount of accountability for owning a gun, it changes things dramatically. But yeah, no, less guns also would be good. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, so like I, I thought this was a very interesting book, both looking into like the voyeuristic nature of storytelling. Did anybody notice that the female lead referred to like the living people as like storylines or
Storylines. Yep.
shows or
Yep. Hmm.
so I mean to me essentially it's particularly because it doesn't deal specifically with uh where you go next when you choose to move on. Essentially, it's kind of positing that the people who stick around are those who love stories, those who aren't willing to give up on learning more, on seeing more, on.
Yeah. So I think, and that's the thing is that I mean, I know you said you didn't want to give spoilers, so I'll try to be vague, but I think the ending to me implies that when they leave, they return to the world of the living.
That's possible.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what the ending meant, right? Where it all fades. Sorry, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
spoil.
Yeah.
But it
Fades
all
to color.
fades. Everything
Yeah.
fades. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that it was that. I took it as, the start of the book. It opens with an act of violence and death, and then it ends with an act of
Well,
love and life.
let's
Hmm.
take
So
a step
it's
before that. It starts with a little pornography, right?
God,
Well, yeah,
yeah,
That's
yeah,
an
yeah.
act of love
yeah.
right there. Self-love in the movie theater.
Well, and
Um,
this is where I'm also going to say that I mean it does play off of the saga thing that I'm certain I forget if it's in volume 2 or volume 3, so it'll be coming up on the Saga Book Club soon.
Hmm.
Um, that the opposite of war isn't peace, it's sex.
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah,
true.
yeah. He's sticking with his themes, and I mean, it's here's the thing, is that what's been striking me reflecting on the book, having read it in pretty much one sitting last night, is that like I hope it's not too late to stop these assholes, and I hope that they're not a permanent fixture of humanity.
Well, and that's I mean that goes back to what I was saying at the beginning, as hard as it can be,
Hmm.
like we have to choose to continue to fight nonviolently rather than because the second we choose otherwise, we're not doing anything to stop these assholes either. We're
I don't.
not
What do you
we're
mean?
we're we're not
We're,
providing the counter that says that things do matter, principles do matter, the
we're
world
beyond that.
does
I
matter.
mean, the world we're in right now is so beyond that. Ted, there's no way that you can use peace and love and joy to get through to these um some of these people, right? We
But I'm not I don't care about getting through the Charlie Kirks and the Donald Trumps in the world.
Okay.
I care about getting through to the leaderboard kids of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think that it's
It's
that,
not about changing your enemy.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the number of people who are locked into the MAGA perspective at the level of Charlie Kirk or Donald Trump or JD Vance is actually not that big. It's
Mhm.
about it's about organizing the people who are already against it. It's about getting the people who are apolitical because they think both sides are the same. I mean, we had the highest turnout in a presidential election ever in our last presidential election, and half the nation still didn't vote.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Well,
the single biggest part of the Reagan legacy that has led to this is that so much of the nation has been absolutely convinced that all of politicians are just greedy and out for themselves and liars and whatnot, and it doesn't matter because government can't do anything for you anyway.
you don't think that's the truth?
I
I mean, the
think
world
that
we're in right now.
It's the
I
truth they
think
want us to believe.
yeah, I think that government has to do things for us because so many things cannot be done by individuals.
If
Government is
government
where
can't do anything for us, it shouldn't exist.
right,
It's there to
but
serve the people.
right.
And it's not. So
Oh,
what we have
clearly it's
right now.
not.
Oh, we
Yeah,
have a
that's my point.
broken government right now,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
100%.
That's my
but
point.
you're not going to replace it by not having government. If you replace it by not having government, then it literally becomes whoever has the most guns gets their way.
Correct.
Yep.
But
I don't think
that's
that's
where
the
we're
right.
at.
That's yeah, Phil. That's where we're at. So
We're getting
what are
to
we
very
doing?
quickly.
No,
Um,
we're the people with the guns are having their way. They're having their way right
Thank you.
now.
That's
You know,
exactly my point. Like, what are we gonna do? Keep sitting here and bitching about it like poor us? It's
I
time to
mean,
get
they
up.
don't feel like
Fight
they're
back.
having their way.
You don't think
of
so?
course they don't because but it's happening. Fascism is here and
No, I
boots are on the
totally
ground.
agree,
And yeah,
but
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. But like, I mean,
this is
even
where I go back to the conversation with Greg Rucka, which is
yeah.
like the way is through.
Yes, I agree with that. But what I was also referencing is that, what you say is okay, if you remove government, I mean, at this point, if you remove government, this government, yeah, I think that would do more good than harm. But
Yes.
I agree that we need some form of government. But it's also like I'm thinking of Alan Moore's Anarchy, his perspective that it's always like that. We just pretend that it's not. But that's always
That's
how it is.
I kind of believe that.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, I have to roll. Let's go. Let's
No,
continue. I'm
don't go,
sorry.
Tyler. Don't
I
leave
can't
us.
help it. Let's end that debate because we'll end it all on we're all
Phil and I
friends.
will be having this debate for a long time.
I look
I
forward to it.
know, I know. I'll listen and I'll go. Oh,
We'll suddenly get the email from Tyler like we once got from Phil.
There we
I
go.
was listening to my car and I was talking to you along with it. Is there any
Yep.
chance I can come on the show and talk to you for real?
Admittedly, at that time, I
And then you
thought
go,
two,
oh, wait, it's my show. Can I
right?
come next week?
And the other piece of that I thought you two were students, not teachers. I thought you were punk ass kids.
did you really?
Well, I had listened to like part of one episode at that point,
Okay.
Yeah.
and I couldn't. You sounded close enough to my age that I assumed you were a little bit younger as opposed to a little bit older.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No.
And
You know,
it took.
I
learned
wasn't
from
a
that.
punk ass kid when I was a punk ass kid.
That's
I
fair.
was. I was.
Yeah, I know you were.
I
Yeah.
recognize that my first impression was as soon as I actually talked to you guys, it was like, okay, yeah. And it was funny because, like I said, then after I talked to you, I listened to a couple more episodes. I was like, oh, there's where you mentioned that you're teachers, not students. But when you talked about school, I inherently
I
thought
think it was also in our
students, not
social
teachers.
media.
I
That's
didn't see it.
If you'd actually looked at our Twitter profile
That's
rather than
fu-
I
just
think
sending
I
us a
did.
message.
I think I did look at the. I don't remember
so.
if I saw it. Anyway, it's still amusing. It's funny.
Were
I
you like, oh my god, I can't believe these guys are teachers?
No, it was less that. It was more like, wow, I have very much misjudged this situation. Okay,
But
but
then
let's
when
roll
you
with it.
met us, when you met us, did you feel like we fit our personalities that you heard?
At that point, I mean, yes, more. And that was the thing is that I mean, your personalities were very strong from the first listen, but it was clear that I hadn't quite listened to enough episodes before jumping in that deep end to know what I was getting into. But again, I'm glad I did. I'm happy to be
I mean,
here. I love talking to you guys, and it's it feels great. It feels good.
good,
You know,
good.
I thank you
All
for letting
right.
me crash your party.
Well, Tyler
I,
thanks you a lot because he doesn't have
I,
to feel like he's abandoning me now.
well,
I mean,
if
even though he is, I'm gonna
if
cry when
this
we're done, Tyler.
if this podcast, or no, I'm sorry, my store thing had come up at a different time before Phil or something like that, um it would have been a lot harder to make that decision because it could have meant the end of the show. You know what I mean? And I never want that. You know what I mean? I think this thing should go on as long as it can, whether, you know, I come in and out or Phil needs to bop in and out, or I don't think Tad ever will, but you never know. uh I want it to live. You know, I don't want to just be like, well, I'm done. Stop the thing, you know.
Again,
That's
our
not what I'm saying.
namesake, after our namesake, 22
Mhm.
panels always works.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
All right.
always works.
That always
Guys,
works.
I am going to tell you what I am going to read for next week. What I'm getting excited about it anyway. You don't have to.
I thought I got to go first, man.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry,
Got to
you
do it
do. You
right.
do. All right.
First, I know because I got to read an advanced copy that Jason's new graphic novel, Death in Trieste, chef's kiss. Um, David and
You got to
Maria
get
Lapham
that.
are back with Good as Dead, so I'm
Uh-huh.
very happy about that. Exquisite Corpuses has been fantastic. This issue, James Tynion and Michael Walsh are joined by Jordi Belair and Claire Rowe. And we have the final issue of the aforementioned Buried Long, Long Ago from Anthony Cleveland and Alex Cormack. I would mention a graphic novel or a collection, but I noticed that Phil's got it, so I'll let him do that. So, Tyler, what are you looking forward to?
Well, as you
For
mentioned,
the last time.
Exquisite Corpses is really great. James Tynion and Jordi Belair, Michael Walsh, Claire Rowe, from Image. I'm very much looking forward to it. I got caught up on I Hate Fairyland through Global Comics, and so I am very much excited for the new I Hate Fairyland number 44 uh, from Scotty Young and Derek Laffman from Image. And then I'm a huge HP Lovecraft fan. So when I saw this was coming, the last day of HP Lovecraft craft from Romuald Gulivo and Jacob Rebelka from Boom.
And of course, my all new giant size trade waiter pick is going to be Assorted Crisis Events from Dennis Camp, Eric Zawadzki, Jordi Belair, and Hassan Atsmain Al How, Image Comics. It's phenomenal. It feels like the book of the year. It's just so damn good. If you do pick it up and trade, I hope you switch to single issues because it's that damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I go back and forth whether it's even the Dennis Camp book of the year.
Interesting. What's your other Dennis Camp book of the year?
Absolute Martian Manhunter.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
Dad, you know what I do want to be a part of is the end of the year stuff.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
When you
Okay.
get closer to December or whenever we did it last year.
Well, I was actually
January.
literally going to be talking to Phil about that after we got off air and how we
Okay.
wanted to do it, because if you weren't going to be here, I needed to change it up because it was going to drive me up the wall to do it do it our way if you weren't here. But if you're going to be here, then we got to figure it out. So,
Okay.
particularly because with three of us, it's not innings anymore.
Yeah.
We had the nice 3 outs apiece. There
Yep.
aren't 3 teams in baseball. I'm going to work on that.
Okay. I
So Phil, I'm not going to talk to you about it today because if Tyler's coming back for the year end, I got to think harder about.
Gotcha.
is that
what.
are you cool with that, guys? If I
Of
pop in
course.
for that, because
I'm not
I-
only cool with it, I now insist. If you try to bail, I am driving out there with a baseball bat.
Tad, because I will tell you over the years, you
Now
and I
I'm
started this.
non-violent, so I'm not going to do anything with that.
So you're gonna
baseball
go.
bat,
You're
but
gonna
I'll
go to
bring
the
it with
batting
me.
cages
You're just
and talk
bringing
it
it.
out.
Ball bat.
Right.
No, Tad, over the years, I have really enjoyed our year-end talks. It's been fun to go over everything that's come out over the year and what we've loved. And
Well, then
so
yes, please.
yeah. Okay. Guys, I do have to go. People are expecting me at
See
9.
us
So
out.
okay, guys. Thanks for listening. It has been awesome. This show means so much to me, and I will be back. But thanks for listening, and we'll catch you guys after the next page. See ya.